While he spoke these things to them, behold, a ruler came and worshipped him.
My daughter has just died. But come and lay your hand on her, and she will live.
So Jesus arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. And suddenly, a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years came from behind and touched the hem of his garment.
Oh, if only I may touch his garment, I shall be made well.
But Jesus turned around, and when he saw her, he said,
"Be of good cheer, daughter. Your faith has made you well."
And the woman was made well from that hour. When Jesus came into the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the noisy crowd wailing,
"Make room, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping."
and they ridiculed him. But when the crowd was put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. And the report of this went out into all that land.
Now when Jesus had crossed over again by boat to the other side, a great multitude gathered to him, and he was by the sea. And behold, one of the rulers of the synagogue came, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet and begged him earnestly,
My little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live.
So Jesus went with him, and a great multitude followed him and thronged him. Now a certain woman had a flow of blood for 12 years, and had suffered many things from many physicians. She had spent all that she had, and was no better, but rather grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came behind him in the crowd and touched his garment.
If only I may touch his clothes, I shall be made well.
Immediately, the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of the affliction. And Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that power had gone out of him, turned around in the crowd.
"Who touched my clothes?"
You see the multitude thronging you, and you say, 'Who touched me?'
And he looked around to see her who had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell down before him and told him the whole truth.
"Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your affliction."
While he was still speaking, some came from the ruler of the synagogue's house.
Your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further?
As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said to the ruler of the synagogue,
"Do not be afraid, only believe."
And he permitted no one to follow him, except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. Then he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and saw a tumult and those who wept and wailed loudly.
"Why make this commotion and weep? The child is not dead, but sleeping."
And they ridiculed him. But when he had put them all outside, he took the father and the mother of the child and those who were with him, and entered where the child was lying. Then he took the child by the hand.
"Talata kumi."
Which is translated,
"Little girl, I say to you, arise."
Immediately the girl arose and walked, for she was 12 years of age, and they were overcome with great amazement. But he commanded them strictly that no one should know it, and said that something should be given her to eat.
So it was when Jesus returned that the multitude welcomed him, for they were all waiting for him. And behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue. And he fell down at Jesus' feet and begged him to come to his house, for he had an only daughter about 12 years of age, and she was dying. But as he went, the multitudes thronged him. Now a woman, having a flow of blood for 12 years, who had spent all her livelihood on physicians and could not be healed by any, came from behind and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her flow of blood stopped.
Who touched me?
When all denied it, Peter and those with him said,
Master, the multitudes throng and press you, and you say, Who touched me?
Somebody touched me, for I perceived power going out from me.
Now when the woman saw that she was not hidden, she came trembling, and falling down before him, she declared to him in the presence of all the people the reason she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately.
Daughter, be of good cheer. Your faith has made you well. Go in peace.
While he was still speaking, someone came from the ruler of the synagogue's house.
Your daughter is dead. Do not trouble the teacher.
But when Jesus heard it, he answered him,
Do not be afraid. Only believe, and she will be made well.
When he came into the house, he permitted no one to go in except Peter, James, and John, and the father and mother of the girl. Now all wept and mourned for her.
Do not weep. She is not dead, but sleeping.
And they ridiculed him, knowing that she was dead. But he put them all outside, took her by the hand, and called.
Little girl, arise.
Then her spirit returned, and she arose immediately. And he commanded that she be given something to eat. And her parents were astonished, but he charged them to tell no one what had happened.